Shalom. First and foremost, above all things, I want to give all praises and honor and glory that's definitely due to Yahweh by Hashem, Shai by Hashem, Rakah Kradash, from the prophets in Babylon, out of the Waco, Texas camp, affiliated with the branch of prophets in Babylon, Tampa Bay, Florida. I'm your brother Atiat. I'd like to give a special double honors to the elders and apostles on down at Great Millstone. And peace and salutations to the elect. May the blessing of election be upon your household, on you sincere brothers and few sisters out there that listen and take heed. Lesson for today: we're all controlled by the Heavenly Father and Son. And Lord willing, I hope and pray that this will be an edifying lesson. So, the idea of having free will is, is false. There was a couple of other words I wanted to say, but I just see it like this: it's false to think that you have free will. There's no one. There's nothing on this. There's nothing or no one on this earth that's not controlled by the Heavenly Father and Son. Even with this, the president, you got Donald Trump in office. Even he has no free will, because at the end of the day, he is controlled by the Heavenly Father. And even with Donald Trump, we know that these presidents are told behind the scenes what to do and what not to do by the wicked elite of Esau Edom. So, he has no free will. And even these, the wicked elite of Esau Edom, they have no free will, because they're all controlled by the Heavenly Father and the Son, man. Everything that's going on in Chicago, with the agents coming into Illinois, Chicago to kind of what we feel is implementing martial law. All those things are fulfilling prophecy, because this is what the Heavenly Father and the Son wants. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, which means he is or he exists. And then you have the Son's name, which is Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh Shai means he that delivers. So for so long, we have been, lied to and told the wrong names. But this was to keep us away from our higher power. But through the mercies and the grace of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, we know the names, and we know to call upon the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. The scriptures say that the names of the Heavenly Father and the Son are a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are saved. So we call upon the names of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So without further delay, I'm gonna go into it, give you some scriptures so you'll know that there's no such thing as free will. People always say I can do what I want to do. I do what I want to do. No, it's like the scriptures describe the Heavenly Father and the Son as the potter. There's the potter and there's the clay. And we are the clay. We're not the potter. So all our actions are controlled by the Heavenly Father and of the Son, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So without further delay, I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna go into you know what? I'm gonna go into Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1. The king's heart is in the Lord, is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. As the rivers of water he turneth it whithersoever he will. Yeah. So even with the turnings of the water, whether we get rain or don't get rain, or whether we have we're going into fall, fall eventually turns into winter. If we get a real bad winter, it's because the Lord wants it that way, the Lord decides those things, So even with these so-called kings of these nations, presidents and whatever, these so-called leaders of these countries and these nations, their hearts are in the hands of Yahweh Shem Shai. So after reading that, I'm going to go into the NLT and we see what that says. Out of the NLT, Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1. The king's heart is like a stream of water directed by the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai. He guides it wherever he pleases. Yeah. But again, this is proof that tells you that Yahweh Shem Shai controls it all, man. Yeah, I'm going to go into Proverbs. I believe it's Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 24. Man's goings are of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai. How can a man then understand his own way? Yeah. There are times when we think we have things certain planned out that, hey, we're going to go do this. But the Lord will, but then it doesn't turn the way you thought you had planned it out. It's because Yahweh Shem Shai pointed you in a different direction. Again, he controls everything, man. Again, I'll read it. Proverbs 20 and 24. Man's going are of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai. How can a man then understand his own way? Yeah. So it doesn't matter whether you're wicked or, you're of the elect, whether whatever you are, even from the animals to the creatures, everything is controlled by Yahweh Shem Shai, man. Everything. Everything and everyone has a purpose. If you were someone who's opposed to the truth, that's your lot. That's who you are. That's who the Lord wanted you to be. If you were groomed to be a prophet, then that's what you're going to be. You can't turn away from it. That's what you are. That's what you're going to be. The Lord is going to put that spirit on you to be that way. Now I'm going to read Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24 out of the NLT. The Lord directs our steps, so why try to understand everything along the way? Yeah. Just understand, sometimes we plan things. You may say, well, you know what? I'm a do a lesson on this. And just to give you an example, I did a lesson earlier, And I said I was going to do a follow-up. And Lord willing, maybe I may come back and do that follow-up. But this was heavy on my spirit to do this video. So, that's proof right there that, that man's goings are of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. Now I'm going to go to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 9. Proverbs chapter 16 verse 9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. Yeah, so again, you may plan to do certain things, like you say, baby, tomorrow, I'm gonna go and do such and such a thing, and the Lord may devise it to where you don't do what you said you was gonna do, right? This is another reason, why we have to say, if it's the Lord's will, I'm gonna do such and such a thing. I'm gonna go see so and so, or I'm gonna, whatever it might be, you gotta go do, or need to go do, or maybe you want to go do. You should always say if it's the Lord's will, because you don't know. Lord willing, I will do this or I'll do that. We don't know. Again, man's goings, whether you're a man or you're a woman, they're the goings of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Whatever happens, So I read it again. Proverbs 16 and 9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua directed his steps. So again, you may say you're gonna do this or that, but the Lord may switch it up and say, "No, he's not gonna. You're not gonna do that. I got this for him to do." And even then, with Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, when you plan something in your heart, it's the Lord that put it in your heart to think about doing that. And then the Lord may switch it up on you and say, "No, I said, I'm gonna get you to do this." Again, our hearts belong to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. He dictates what we're gonna do, what we're not gonna do, man. Now, this is Proverbs chapter 16 out of the NLT, and verse 9, of course. We can make our plans, but the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, determines our steps. Yeah, so again, we can make plans on certain things that we're going to do, but it's Yahweh Hashem Yahushua that decides whether you do those things or not, So, Lord willing, I hope and pray that this is an edifying lesson. Once again, I want to give all praises and honor and glory that's definitely due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rakak Radash. Special double honors to the elders and apostles on down at Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the elect. Until the next time, Lord willing, I'll say shalom.